Those years in quest of honor mine. Chapter 70. After Yushi left the estate, Zhongyuan took his medicine and looked over the official documents the Dali Temple had sent to Yushi. 2 hours later, Zhongyuan ran out of energy and sprawled out on the desk to take a short nap. Zhongyuan got woken up by Yushi. Zhongyuan was barely conscious after waking up. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Yushi. Before he could react, he had already been pressed against the back of the chair by the other. Bleary-eyed, he was unable to clearly discern Yushi's expression. He only felt like there was a dark air around the other, as if a fierce rage was hidden in his chest. Zhongyuan absent-mindedly thought, "What's wrong?" Zhongyuan was just about to start speaking when Yushi squeezed his chin and kissed him. Yushi was in a fit. He couldn't control his own strength. His other hand kept a death grip around Zhongyuan's wrist, creating obvious red marks. Zhongyuan winced and inhaled softly in pain, only to hear Yushi mutter from the back of his throat, open your mouth." With no other choice, Zhongyuan did as he said and separated his lips. Yushi took advantage of every inch of his mouth. Zhongyuan was dazed. What was wrong with Yushi? It was the middle of the day. Yushi had suddenly developed such intentions towards him upon returning to the estate. Truly, young and energetic. A moment later, Yushi let go of Zhongyuan. As if he had lost all his energy, he leaned down and wrapped Zhongyuan in his embrace. Zhongyuan was out of breath from being kissed by Yushi. His lips were slightly numb. He chuckled softly. Just as he was about to tease Yushi a bit, he heard Yushi softly said, "Go Yun." Yushi's voice didn't sound right. Zhongyuan suffered a fright. The smile on his face disappeared. What's wrong? Did you get into another argument with the royal princess?" Zhongyuan wanted to turn his head and look at Yushi, but Yushi held him even closer. Yushi was very strong, Zhongyuan couldn't move at all. He felt uneasy. What's actually the matter? Yushi buried his face against Zhongyuan's neck. A long time later, he said hoarsely, "Go Yun, sometimes. I really don't know who I should hate." Yushi's words were very random. For some reason, Zhongyuan suddenly felt a grueling pain in his heart. In hesitation, Zhongyuan wrapped his arms around Yushi, too. Softly, he asked, "Did Royal Princess Angguo say something?" Yushi didn't answer. A moment later, he suddenly said, "Zhongyuan, no matter what happens in the future, don't be disgusted by me." "Sometimes," muttered Yushi to himself. "Sometimes, I feel like I've wronged everyone. But then, I think a little harder and also feel unwilling to be resigned to this. I wasn't the one who chose my identity. I did all I could to prevent you from seeing Tangming and the princess. I feared that after you found out the whole truth, you would blame me and hate me. I can't plead innocence, but it's not like I can cut off my flesh and return it to those people either, right?" Zhongyuan couldn't take it anymore. "All right, okay. I won't blame you. I definitely won't find you disgusting either. What's wrong with you?" Yushi stopped talking again. After a long pause, Yushi whispered, "I want to sleep for a bit." With no other options, Zhongyuan said, "All right, I'll accompany you." The two of them lay in bed, fully dressed. Yushi held onto Zhongyuan's hand. In only a moment, he fell asleep. Zhongyuan rested on his side and stared at Yushi. His eyebrows were softly furrowed together. The two of them had never explicitly talked about Yushi's background. Yushi had silently admitted to the fact that he was Emperor Chang'an's illegitimate son. As for the identity of his other parent, he hadn't mentioned anything at all. Zhongyuan had tried to ask about it in roundabout ways but had always been given only perfunctory response. He knew that this was a hidden scar in the other's heart, so he never asked too many questions. Recently, however, Zhongyuan felt like an answer was faintly appearing in his mind. He heaved out a long sigh. Who could be disdainful of whom? They were all in situations of not their own choosing. Zhongyuan used his own arm as a pillow but didn't feel sleepy at all. About an hour later, Yushi's hand twitched. He opened his eyes. His countenance had already returned to normal. Yushi sat up. After a brief pause, his memories returned. He recalled how he had appeared a bit agitated while previously out of control. Zhongyuan softly asked, "What's actually wrong?" "Nothing," Yushi calmly stated while straightening out his clothes. "These days, I've become overdramatic. Can't even handle hearing a few unpleasant things." Yushi glanced at Zhongyuan. He didn't forget to blame the other, saying, "It's all because of you. Things are fine now." Yushi's expression was normal. He didn't forget to closely examine Zhongyuan's lips. He grabbed Zhongyuan's wrist that was red from being squeezed and massaged it, softly reminding, "Next time I go crazy, ignore me. Keep as far away as you can." "How could I do that?" Zhongyuan asked. "If I left, who would reap the benefits?" Yushi burst into laughter. Zhongyuan allowed Yushi to massage his wrist and stopped using his teasing tone. He asked again, "What did Royal Princess said?" Yushi acted like he hadn't heard. He stood up and said, "It's a bit bruised. I'll go get some medicated oil to help you disperse the congested blood." Suiyu, Zhongyuan sat on the bed. He softly said, "Isn't it better if you tell me, rather than someone else telling me?" Yushi froze. He once again remained silent as he headed off to retrieve the medicated oil. Zhongyuan felt exasperated. A short while later, Yushi returned, carrying a bucket of hot water. Yushi rolled up his sleeves and heated the handkerchief up by rubbing it. He helped Zhongyuan place this warm compress on his wrist. The current emperor, Yushi waited for a moment. After the handkerchief became slightly cooler, he took it off and submerged it in the hot water once again. He wrapped it around Zhongyuan's wrist once more after wringing it dry. Spent a long time as a prince. A very, very long time. The previous emperor lived a long life. He outlived several princes. The oldest prince at the time was our current emperor. Back then, he was the second imperial prince. The previous emperor didn't actually like the second prince too much. He liked sixth prince more. Prince Ning. Yushi re-soaked the handkerchief again. He worried that the water was no longer as warm as before, so he used his own hands to cover Zhongyuan's wrist. He calmly continued, saying, "Age-old matters. You know about all these things too. I won't go into too much detail. Back then, the previous emperor started thinking about crowning his youngest son. No, he didn't only think about it, he practically truly did it. The only thing missing was an imperial decree. In those years, many flooding catastrophes occurred after the Great Drought. The previous emperor thought that the year was bad and unlucky. He also believed that he was in good health, so he wanted to name the crown prince the next year, which was supposed to be a fertile year. He could also take this chance to grant amnesty throughout the nation, making things smoother. Back then, the previous emperor doted on Prince Ning greatly. Anybody with eyes could tell. Second prince was very anxious. Though the previous emperor was old, he still maintained his grasp over the court. Second prince couldn't do anything publicly, even with Prince Yu as an ally. What to do? Prince Yu came up with a good plan for him. Through royal princess Angguo, Prince Yu secretly spread rumors in the palace that said that the previous emperor was going to kill the mother to keep the son. After naming the crown prince, he was going to kill both imperial consort Zhong and young imperial consort Zhong. Zhongyuan's heart skipped a beat. You've heard about those rumors, too. You believed that this was the previous emperor's plan, right? Yushi calmly asked. No. The previous emperor himself had never held such a thought. The Zhong estate didn't have any promising males. Additionally, noble consort Zhong was a virtuous woman. She wasn't the type to cause the previous emperor any fear. But no one else thought this way. The two imperial consorts of your family heard this rumor and started spending each day and night in panic. However, they didn't dare to ask. Noble consort Joan cried every day. She treated each time she saw Prince Ning as if it were her last. After enough time, even lies were close to becoming truth. Noble consort Joan was willing to die for her son's future. Young imperial consort Joan, though, wasn't so willing. It wasn't like Prince Ning was her son. Yushi threw the handkerchief off to the side, picked up the medicated oil and poured some into his palm. He slightly rubbed his palms together. After the medicated oil heated up, he gently pressed his palms against the affected area of Joan Wan's wrist. Young imperial consort Joan and second princess consort were close friends. She had already seen second prince once before entering the palace. The two of them had a little something? I'm not sure. Second prince waited for young imperial consort Joan to believe the rumors. Then, he tasked a palace servant to send her a message. He told her that after all these years, he still couldn't forget her. Only because she had become his concubine mother did he force himself to remain silent despite his overwhelming affection. Now that he had heard about her impending demise, he could no longer sit around and wait. At the time, young imperial consort Joan had worried daily that she would have to lose her life for her elder sister's son. In the midst of her panic, she had received such a message. How could she not feel touched? Second prince promised her that if the emperor intended to kill her in the future, he would naturally devise a plan to ensure her safety. Perhaps this would involve using a death replacement or finding some sort of fake death medicine for her to take, but ultimately, he wouldn't let her truly die in the palace. Young imperial consort Joan had finally found a way out. She was endlessly grateful. The two of them used a palace servant to send messages between each other, comprising of all sorts of vows and promises. These messages were incredibly touching. Zhonwan said with difficulty, the emperor had never planned on killing the two imperial consort Zhongs. This lie was going to be exposed sooner or later. Yes. Yushi let go and poured some more medicated oil into his palm. He rubbed his palms together and placed them on Zhonwan's wrist once again. Don't get impatient. This was only the first step in their plan. At first, second prince and young imperial consort Zhong only communicated through the palace servant. Eventually, they started meeting up a few times in the palace. And then, young imperial consort Zhong became pregnant. She was deathly terrified. Her first thought was to abort this demon child. She truly acted out on this thought, too. But unfortunately, she was in too great of health. Yushi gently rubbed Zhonwan's bruise with his fingertips. After a bowl of abortion medicine, she was in great pain but surprisingly didn't manage to lose the child. Yushi scoffed. How fortunate. Second prince was waiting for this exact day. Upon hearing this news, he hurriedly told someone to tell young imperial consort Zhong not to harm this child under any circumstances. Second prince said that his own sons had either all died or were ill. He really wanted to keep this child that he had conceived with his lover. He also pretended to be resentful, saying young imperial consort Zhong had a cruel heart and wasn't truly in love with him. Young imperial consort Zhong still needed to rely on second prince to live. How could she dare to anger him? But she couldn't really give birth to this child. The previous emperor hadn't touched her in several years. She couldn't use him as an excuse. What to do about this? Second prince gave young imperial consort Zhong a good idea. He gave young imperial consort Zhong a packet of poison. That day, the previous emperor had caught a cold. It was noble consort Zhong who took care of him day after day, not even having time to undress when turning in to sleep at night. It was very easy for young imperial consort Zhong to sneak in. Second prince told young imperial consort Zhong that he who strikes first gains the advantage. Rather than waiting for the emperor to kill them all, Why not kill this cruel-hearted old thing instead? As such, neither she nor her sister would need to die. Then, second prince once again asked young imperial consort Joan. Yushi scoffed at himself. He asked her whether or not she wanted to be the empress. Whether or not she wanted the son in her belly to become the future crown prince. Joan Wan's fingers slightly trembled. Second prince said that after the emperor passed away, he would treat noble consort Joan well and treat Prince Ning as his biological younger brother. He would hide young imperial consort Joan in the estate by the imperial mausoleum. After 1 or 2 years, he would help her change her name and marry her so that she could return to the palace. But what actually happened? You already know. The medicine had passed through noble consort Joan's hands. She couldn't escape punishment. After the previous emperor's death, noble consort Joan had no way of defending herself. Without even waiting for the news to spread outside of the palace, the empress had already forced poison down her throat and tied her up with a white scarf. She never got to see Prince Ning one last time. The Joan estate naturally couldn't avoid being dragged in as well. Yushi grabbed Joan Wan's other hand and continued the massage. The empress was merciful. She said that these were all disgraceful matters of the imperial family, so didn't publicize them. She only announced that noble consort Joan had feared the rumors about killing the mother and leaving the son, so had committed such a crime in a moment of foolishness. But she still had Prince Ning as a son, after all. It was impossible for the empress not to care about a prince's future. Thus, the Joan estate fell from grace overnight. The remaining members didn't dare to say anything out of line at all. After all, this was already a heavenly blessing. If this matter had truly been judged as a regicide, nobody in the Joan family would have been allowed to live. Joan Wan's shoulders gently quaked. All that needed to be resolved had already been resolved. Second prince was originally going to kill young imperial consort Joan as well, but in the end, the empress already the Empress Dowager now the Empress Dowager suddenly became unwilling. Second prince didn't have a healthy son. The Empress Dowager feared that the child in young imperial consort Joan's stomach would be a son. Thus, she couldn't bear to risk it. Coincidentally, Royal Princess Angwo had just lost her child. Even more coincidentally, Royal Princess Angwo's husband was Prince Yu, who second prince both feared and relied heavily upon. This unformed fetus, gender yet unknown, had come at such an opportune time. Thus, after living at the estate in the imperial mausoleum for a month, young imperial consort Joan, who kept thinking about and waiting for the time that she would be brought back into the palace to be empress, didn't receive the news of second prince's arrival. Instead, she received the news of Royal Princess Angwo's arrival. Yushi let go of Joan Wan's hand and calmly said, "You naturally know now who that male infant is. If not for this male infant, who ought to have been aborted after a bowl of abortion medicine," Yushi stood up and washed his hands. "A lot of people wouldn't have had to die. Your family. Your family wouldn't have been implicated either." End chapter. Those Years in Quest of Honor Mine. Chapter 71. Since Joan Wan wanted to stay, then he should be aware of some things. Sooner or later, he would know. For several months, Yushi felt as though he were standing upon the edge of a cliff, as though he were treading on thin ice. He stood in a constant state of worry that Joan Wan would learn of the inside information. However, nowadays Prince Yu wanted to make an issue of Yushi's background. He truly could not keep Joan Wan in the dark any longer. Joan Wan was right. It would hold more weight if he said it himself. After Yushi had strived his hardest to explain the past events in a calm and clear way, Joan Wan fell into a daze. He did not speak throughout. Yushi wanted to explain himself, yet did not know what to say. As if he still did not know whom he should hate until now, Yushi did not know how to explain things to Joan Wan. His birth parents and foster parents had plotted a murder. How clean could he, their son, be? If Prince Ning had smoothly ascended the throne back then then as a member of the Zhong clan, Zhongwan would without a doubt have grown up safe and sound. He would have passed the imperial examinations in his youth, grown up to be either a general or prime minister. How could he have fallen to this state? Was Yushi himself truly that innocent? Did Zhongwan truly have nothing to do with the good days Yushi had these past years? Yushi had practically run away from Zhongwan's courtyard. Absent-minded, he entered the study and shut the door. Yushi leaned against the door. Fingers trembling, he touched his chest. He wanted to take out those things that were hidden there. After hesitating for a moment, he couldn't bear to. Not yet. It hadn't reached the point where that was necessary yet. Yushi was unsure how Zhongwan would react after hearing those words. If Zhongwan left, then afterward, perhaps Yushi would use those things many times. He could not waste them. Once again, Yushi touched his chest. Sat down. Not wasting any more time, he called for a family soldier. Ordered him to spare no effort and search for the former palace maids who had waited on young imperial consort Zhong. After he had given this order, Yushi changed into a set of court robes, ordered people to prepare a sedan, and prepared to enter the palace. On the way to the palace, he tried his best to compose himself. At the critical moment, he must not screw up. Emperor Chang'an seldom discussed with his cabinet members. He would just read the documents sent to his palace before resting. The old eunuchs who served Emperor Chang'an kept watch at the main doorway. Once noon arrived, they had already blocked many groups of people who wished to see the emperor. When they saw Yushi arrive, they hesitated. Then they went inside to report to the emperor. Shortly after, they returned and invited Yushi in. Emperor Chang'an was half lying on the bed. As soon as he caught sight of Yushi, he beamed. "Why have you come so often to pay respects recently? Come." Looking down, Yushi paid respects. Then he rose to his feet. "This official has a secret to report to your majesty." Worry painting his face, Emperor Chang'an waved. The eunuchs retreated. Yushi sucked in a deep breath. And he narrated in full detail the plot he had heard from Royal Princess Angguo to Emperor Chang'an. With indifference, Yushi said, after this official had heard such words, this official felt somewhat moved. "May your majesty inform this official who my biological father." Utter nonsense. Emperor Chang'an's expression experienced a tremendous change, and he was angered to the point of trembling. "This is utter nonsense. You are ours." Emperor Chang'an felt dizzy for a good while. He used the small table for support, saying with determination, "We only have one son that grew up capable. But those people still want to harm us. With much difficulty, the heavens left a good child for us. They. Yushi knelt on the ground. He neither asked for forgiveness nor consoled him. There were no eunuchs to wait upon them in the room. Emperor Chang'an could only tremble as he rose to his feet, picking up his teacup. He forced himself to take a sip of ginseng tea. With a pale face, he asked, whose sinister plan was this? A strange light flashed through Yushi's eyes. Faintly he said, "His Highness Fifth Prince, Xian Qiang." Absent-mindedly, Emperor Chang'an murmured, "Qiang heir? We clearly warned him last time." "Why did he?" "Last time, after he secretly detained the people from the royal mausoleum, Fifth Highness placed spies at this official's side time after time again. This official could not put up with it any longer, and had endured in silence throughout. Never had this official imagined he would investigate this deeply," said Yushi in a low voice. "This time, my investigation uncovered that he wants to make me change my name. This official. Don't think strange things. We are the most clear on your background. Don't speak any more." Emperor Chang'an was saddened and angered. Unfilial son. He's a good-for-nothing and only knows how to rely on his maternal family to curry favor for his crooked means. Now, he dares to dirty our reputation. Unfilial son. He hurled the teacup to the ground. Yushi tilted his head a hint, dodging a flying shard of porcelain. This was actually Zhonwan's plan. Yushi had all the material evidence and human testimonies regarding the chief of the Baidi tribes contacting Xianqiang in secret. At the start, Zhonwan had wanted to inform Xianjing about the situation, waiting for the time of the incident to tell Emperor Chang'an that everything was Prince Yu's plan. From start to finish, Prince Yu was heartless. In this way, they could catch him unaware. When the time came, Xianjing definitely would hit them when they're down. Then both sides would accuse each other. Emperor Chang'an was a very suspicious person, and he would for certain believe that nephew and uncle pair were conspiring. Since he was able to place Xianqiang's guilt onto Prince Yu, then how could it be impossible to place Prince Yu's actions onto Xianqiang? Prince Yu's thoughts were profound. At this time, he must have constructed a way to absolve himself from any involvement. A direct accusation would probably give rise to a false countercharge. Since that's the case, why not have Xianqiang take the fall for everything? It took a long time for Emperor Chang'an to calm down. In a low voice, he said, "You, return to your estate. You don't have to bother yourself with this matter anymore. We will take care of it." Yushi stood and turned around. Just as he was about to leave, Emperor Chang'an suddenly said, "Sui Yu." Yushi stopped in his tracks. A long sigh left Emperor Chang'an's lips. "Good child. Whatever your reason is, now that you wholeheartedly became good, we are seriously satisfied. For our whole life, we did not have the fortune of having sons and grandsons. After growing sad a few times, we now have just 2 sons remaining. The incapable is incapable. The disobedient is disobedient." Emperor Chang'an's gaze proved cloudy. He looked at Yushi with pity. "Fortunately, we still have you. We know that you have suffered many grievances these past years. But who hasn't suffered grievances in this world? We have also been wronged. During our time as a prince, we also had been wronged." Emperor Chang'an sighed. "Return to your estate. Don't come out anymore. Tonight, we will send out an imperial decree." Yushi felt tranquil. Back facing the emperor, he touched his chest. He turned around and knelt. Satisfied, Emperor Chang'an smiled. "Good child. If it weren't for you, we truly would not know who to place our hopes on. You should already know we are barely holding on, right? We don't believe you are afraid of dying. That you are competing for the throne because you are afraid Xianjing and Xianqiang would get rid of you in the future. You are doing this because of us, right? You just can't bear to see us like this, right? When it's all said and done, blood is thicker than water. You have forgiven us, haven't you?" Yushi clenched his teeth, enduring the nausea as he bowed and kowtowed. After this, Emperor Chang'an would no longer hesitate. This was enough. Emperor Chang'an wiped his tears and waved. "Good child, you can go." Yushi rose to his feet and left the inner hall. The smile on Emperor Chang'an's face dissipated. He said in a low voice, "Summon Xianqiang." Yushi stood at the gates of the palace for a good while. Only after the attendant, who had followed him, asked him a few times did Yushi respond. Absent-mindedly, Yushi said, "Return to the estate." The attendant said, "Yes." "Are we not returning?" Yushi felt a bit afraid. Afraid that if he returned, Zhonwan would not be there. In the end, Yushi boarded the sedan. On the way back, Yushi called out for the sedan to stop a few times. When they passed by a store selling light refreshments, Yushi disembarked from the sedan to buy some candy for Zhonwan. When they passed by a store selling pastries, Yushi disembarked from the sedan to buy Zhonwan some pastries. When they passed by a stand selling clay figurines by the side of the bridge, Yushi also climbed off his sedan to purchase a few for Zhonwan. 7 years ago, Zhonwan had stirred up trouble and was unable to leave Prince Yu's estate. So, he always had Yushi buy these kinds of things for him. Some bridge-side booths clay figurines, some lanes sugar-coated hawthorn, some small streets blown sugar figures, some alleys paintings. Zhonwan had described them very clearly, instructing Yushi to purchase them. The young Yushi told him in a good-natured way that the princess would not allow him to purchase things from the streets. Non-food items from the streets also couldn't be bought. They were not safe. Even if he did purchase them, he wouldn't be able to bring them inside the estate. Who knew what would happen if one ate or touched those things from the outside? The young Yushi had still revered his mother to an immense degree. He would listen to all of Royal Princess Angwo's words. Zhonwan had spoken to him a few times about it. But Yushi never listened. After being asked so many times, Yushi had the cooks in the estate make those things for Zhonwan. But the chefs couldn't get them right. Zhonwan disliked them. And then this case was left unsettled. "I'll have to trouble you to be more detailed during shaping," said Yushi in a low voice. He said, he wanted Sun Wukong. The old man who made the clay figurines had never seen a member of the nobility before. Scared witless, he made the clay figurine then knelt as he presented it. He didn't dare to take payment for it. Yushi placed a golden ingot onto the vendor's booth. Carefully carried the clay figurine as he returned to his sedan. "Back then, said Yushi to himself as he looked at the clay figurine in his hands. "I actually didn't buy one for you because of what she said. You just wanted a clay figurine, but I actually couldn't give one to you." Yushi closed his eyes, entire body trembling in regret. "Just how can I make up for harming you to this extent?" He did not know if he was stalling for time or if he truly wanted to compensate Zhonwan. He circled the city center for a long time, buying a pile of random things. Yushi didn't let anyone touch them, carrying those items by himself as he returned to the estate. "Young Master Zhon," Yushi protected the tail feathers above Sun Wukong's head. He strived his best to ask in a natural manner, "Is he asleep?" Steward Feng carefully sized Yushi up with a glance. In a soft voice, he said, "Yushi-zi, a short moment after your honored self left. Young Master Zhong left for Prince Jianan's estate." Steward Feng was scared witless that Yushi would go crazy. Unexpectedly, Yushi just nodded his head lightly. "I see." There were slight tremors in his hands, and he crushed Sun Wukong's arm by accident. He rushed to catch the pieces with his sleeve. With his prior words not connecting with his later ones, he said, "Then I'll keep it for him. Hurry and bring me some glue. I'll fix it for him." Steward Feng's eyes reddened in an instant. He sounded his agreement and left. Yushi shut himself up in his study, carefully repairing the clay figurine. But his hands shook too much. After repairing a part, he'd break something else. But he didn't dare to get angry, fearing that he might break more pieces of it. He could only control his temper, repairing the clay figurine a bit at a time. Yushi repaired the clay figurine for no less than 4 hours. During that period, people from the palace came to pass on an imperial decree. Emperor Chang'an finally recognized him as his son. From behind the divider screen, Yushi busied himself with fixing the clay figurine, not even kneeling. He merely had someone place the decree down. A short while later, the members of the imperial clan arrived. A few elders even came. Yet they still were unable to see Yushi. Deep into the night, the clay figurine in Yushi's hands had been shattered beyond recognition. But he didn't dare to get angry. He stood up a few times and sat down a few times. "I'm sorry." With care, Yushi took a bit of glue and slowly applied it to the clay figurine. Voice hoarse, he said, "I've already tried my best, but I still hurt you into this state." "I really don't know," Yushi finally broke down. He set down the clay figurine on the table and clenched his fists tight. "I really don't know what's the best path to take. When Zhonwan finally rushed back to the side courtyard of Prince Yu's estate, it was already midnight. Once Steward Feng had caught sight of Zhonwan, he almost jumped from fear. He pointed to his blood-soaked forehead and cried out, "What happened to your honored self? You're all bloody." "It's nothing." Zhonwan broke into a calm smile. He wiped the blood off in passing. "I got it from kowtowing. I heard some news in the afternoon. It's being announced through the whole city. The whole city's bustling with excitement." "Where's Yu Shizi?" Steward Feng swallowed. "In the study." Zhonwan nodded, and moved to return to his own courtyard, but Steward Feng blurted, "Your honored self should see Yu Shizi first." And so, Zhonwan pushed open the door to the study. Inside was a mess. The imperial edict was torn into a few pieces and thrown aside. On the desk were a few indiscernible small items. Yushi was under the window, sitting with his clothes in disarray. In his hands was something wrapped in paper. Zhonwan's heart pounded. Han Shi-san. He hated himself bitterly. Zhonwan just had to unreasonably go to his family's mausoleum. He forced Yushi to eat those things again. Zhonwan took a few steps forward. Before he could remove the things in Yushi's hand, he fell into a daze all of a sudden. "You!" In disbelief, Zhonwan stared at what lay in Yushi's hand. In a flash, his eyes reddened. "Why did you keep this?" Under the moonlight, his madness broke out. Yushi simply did not notice Zhonwan and dazedly opened the paper wrapping in his hands. Inside was a pinch of green tea leaves. Yushi picked up a crumb, placed it into his mouth as if it were a big treasure. These were the tea leaves from Jianan. Zhonwan had drunk most of it until only this pinch of tea leaves remained. But Steward Feng had said this before, while it wasn't a large amount, it was made from the best sprouts of the tea leaves. Young Master Zhon had picked them out by himself one by one. There was only this much, so Yushi couldn't bear to drink it. End chapter. Those Years in Quest of Honor Mine. Chapter 72. Zhonwan half knelt by Yushi's side. His forehead bled incessantly, the blood flowed down from the spot between his eyebrows, but he couldn't be bothered to care about it. With a hoarse voice, he continued to inquire, "You only ate this? You didn't eat any Han Shi-san, right?" Yushi lifted his head slightly and glanced at Zhonwan. Right now, he wasn't in the right state of mind. He couldn't tell who the person in front of him was at all. Zhonwan's heart hurt so much that he was having trouble breathing. He carefully felt around Yushi's chest but couldn't find anything. He asked again, "You didn't eat Han Shi-san, right?" Yushi carefully chewed on the tea leaves in his mouth. He gently shook his head. Before Zhonwan could relax, Yushi muttered to himself, "Goyun won't let me eat that." Zhonwan's hand froze from where it was holding onto the collar of Yushi's shirt. Zhonwan forced the tears back. His voice slightly choked up as he asked, "Didn't you see the letter I left for you? Did you think that I left? That I wasn't coming back?" Yushi furrowed his brows and looked at Zhonwan. He couldn't understand what the person before him was saying. Blood flowed down Zhonwan's face. He feared this would frighten Yushi, so stood up and casually grabbed a cup of tea. He leaned back and poured the tea on his own face. Though the wound on his forehead stung because of the tea, Zhonwan couldn't be bothered with this pain. He wiped his face and turned around to softly tell Yushi, Get up first. I'm not leaving." Zhonwan yanked Yushi to his feet. Yushi didn't forget to keep a hold on the tea bag in his hand. He carefully wrapped the tea bag up and placed it back in his breast pocket. Zhonwan pulled Yushi onto the bed and tugged a random blanket over to cover him. Yushi quietly let Zhonwan do as he wished. With a blank gaze, he softly ordered, "Don't touch the stuff on my desk." What? Zhonwan looked outside. He hurriedly said, "I didn't touch them." "What are they?" The imperial decree? I'll put it away for you. Yushi shook his head. Don't touch them. They're the mud figurines I bought for Gui Yuan. Zhonwan's lips quivered imperceptibly. His heart hurt so much it felt like it was going to break. Zhonwan embraced Yushi through the blankets. His shoulders were violently shaking. He lowered his head and buried his face deeply into the blankets. Zhonwan didn't care whether or not Yushi could hear anymore. He held Yushi extremely close and whispered, "It's fine if the mud figurines break. I don't like them that much anyways. I forced you to buy them for me 7 years ago because I was missing home at the time. Princess Consort Ning always spoiled me. She didn't have children before me, so when she raised me, she doted on me a lot. All the merchants knew it was easy to earn money from the little young master of Prince Ning's estate." At that time, Zhonwan paused. He softly said, "They would come right on time, waiting for me and Lindsay to get out of school. Then, they would all huddle together in the alley by the corner of Prince Ning's estate. As long as the things they sold were suitable for children, Princess Consort Ning would always buy them for me." Also, Zhonwan's eyes were bright red. His voice shook. "I was purposefully teasing you. Royal Princess was too strict with you. I felt like your childhood must have been very boring. I wanted you to go out and walk around on the streets, too. At the time, I was very pretentious as well. I was never willing to say anything in a straightforward manner." Zhonwan held onto Yushi and said with difficulty, "I knew very clearly what my own feelings were back then, but everyone was saying that your father killed killed Prince Ning. Thus, there were a lot of things I couldn't tell you." Zhonwan muttered, "Later on, I came to terms with several matters. In this lifetime, I'm destined to fail to repay the Prince and Princess Consort Ning for raising me. I have no face to see them again. I don't fear retribution for myself, but..." Zhonwan held back his tears and looked at Yushi. He softly asked, "But what about you? Would Zhonwan's ancestors, who were in the heavens, take their anger out on Yushi after finding out that Zhonwan liked the son of Emperor Chang'an?" Earlier that day, after Yushi had left and Zhonwan had slightly recovered, Zhonwan had forced his sickly body out of bed, left behind a handwritten letter, departed the estate, rented a horse and headed to the Zhon family's ancestral graves. It had been about 7 to 8 years since he last visited. Zhonwan believed that he had shamed his ancestors. He had erased himself from the family tree and had not set in this ancestral graves again. Now that he had learned what had happened before though, he just had to come here. Zhonwan had spent the entirety of several hours kowtowing in front of his parents' graves. Zhonwan didn't dare to defend himself in the slightest against the various embarrassing deeds that he had done in these past few years. He had kowtowed numerous times, until his blood had covered the stone steps, begging his parents down under to blame only him. He had begged them not to, under any circumstances, vent their anger out on his Suiyu again. "I was the one who fell in love first. I was also the one who seduced you." Zhonwan offhandedly wiped his face. "If anyone has sinned, it was me." Yushi closed his eyes and fell asleep. Zhonwan turned to the side, allowing Yushi to lie down. Then, he laid down next to Yushi, still fully dressed. "Suiyu," Zhonwan rested his head against Yushi's body. He muttered, "I don't know either if all the suffering you've experienced in these past few years were because those down under are collecting their debts. I worried that they wouldn't have a clear understanding of the situation, so I wanted to tell them. You weren't the one who did anything wrong. You also aren't the one who has sinned." The blood on Zhonwan's face soaked into the cotton blankets silently. After an unknown period of time, he fell asleep like this, still holding onto Yushi. When the sun first started appearing on the horizon, Zhonwan woke up. Yushi was still fast asleep. Zhonwan sat up and checked Yushi's forehead. Nothing felt wrong. He leaned down and bumped his own forehead against Yushi's. Zhonwan was shocked to find out that his own temperature was much higher than Yushi's. Zhonwan's entire body ached. His forehead hurt even more. Only now did he realize that he had a fever. Zhonwan sighed softly before carefully getting out of bed. Zhonwan didn't know if he had caught a cold or something else. He regretted sleeping in the same bed as Yushi last night. He didn't know if he had infected Yushi or not. Zhonwan grabbed Yushi's outer robe and put it on, then left the bedroom. He bent over and picked up the imperial decree on the ground that had been ripped apart. It was almost indiscernible. Zhonwan felt astonished in his heart. There were surprisingly a few bite marks on this imperial decree. Zhonwan pieced the imperial decree together and read it over. Emperor Chang'an had done relatively well in easing along the topic. The decree wasn't too astonishing. It only said that Yushi was the child he had sired back in the day with a woman from a respectable family at Royal Princess Angguo's estate. At that time, the eldest imperial prince and the second imperial prince had died one after the other. The third imperial prince was in poor health as well. Those were discordant years. Emperor Chang'an worried that Yushi, still merely an infant, would fall victim to misfortune as well. Thus, he temporarily took away the other's imperial surname and had him raised by Prince Yu and Royal Princess Angguo. In this decree, Emperor Chang'an hadn't officially changed Yushi's name. He only said that he would be naming Yushi a prince of the first rank and granting everyone amnesty on another day. No change of surname. No mention of naming him as crown prince. Zhonwan narrowed his eyes. There was no wrong way of announcing this matter. Though the fact that Yushi was Emperor Chang'an's son had long since become a well-known secret among the court officials, if the emperor truly wanted to take Yushi back, he definitely needed to take things one step at a time. It wasn't very appropriate to name him the crown prince immediately. Currently, Emperor Chang'an was making Yushi stay in the cabinet in order to give him opportunities at political achievement. Slowly rewarding him more and more following his eventual accomplishments was more convincing. Thinking in this manner, Emperor Chang'an's plans were very suitable. But on the other hand, this was Emperor Chang'an keeping Yushi in check. Who was Emperor Chang'an? How could he possibly believe that Yushi had truly started accepting him as a father out of the blue? How many human lives were between them? All these years, their father and son relationship had become more and more distant. How could they possibly return to the past overnight? If Yushi was truly named Crown Prince, given Yushi's current temperament, would he do something extreme, like commit patricide? Emperor Chang'an had watched Yushi endure humiliation and bear burdens these past few days. Would he not think of this possibility? Even if Yushi didn't do anything, as soon as Yushi officially became crown prince, would Prince Yu and Xianqian feel threatened and resort to extremes? Emperor Chang'an was wary of both sides. Zhonwan squeezed the imperial decree and felt that the next decree, the one naming Yushi crown prince, probably wouldn't be given anytime soon. He needed to come up with a plan. Zhonwan felt a bit dizzy. His entire body was warm and he felt uncomfortable. He didn't dare to drag things out anymore. He put the imperial decree away nicely and went looking for the imperial doctor alone. After reaching the door, Zhonwan hesitated for a moment. He worried that Yushi, who was in bed now, would wake up later and go crazy again after not being able to find him like he had done yesterday. Zhonwan honestly didn't want to see Yushi in a fit again. Zhonwan thought about it and sighed. He doubled back and stood in front of Yushi's bed before lowering his head and chuckling bitterly. He took off the outer robe and his own undershirt. He placed the undershirt next to Yushi's hand. After seeing such an intimate clothing item, this person wouldn't start thinking strange things again, right? Zhonwan believed that he had sorted things out very thoughtfully. He put on the outer robe and dragged himself out to find the imperial doctor. An hour later, the sky started brightening. Yushi woke up, somewhat dazed. After each episode of madness, Yushi's memory would be very murky. He sat in bed and reflected for a long time. He had a faint inkling of what had happened yesterday. Yushi looked at the bed curtains and felt disappointed. He scoffed at himself. Everything was over. Zhonwan had left. Things were all over. Yushi had originally thought that this was already the worst case scenario, but he only realized after sitting up that there was no permanence in this world and life was a series of misfortunes. Each time he felt like things were completely hopeless, there was always something more terrifying ahead, waiting for him. Yushi's pupils slightly trembled. He stared at the messy bed, the bloodstains on the blankets, and the undershirt next to his hand that had appeared out of nowhere. The color drained from his face. Yushi got up in despair. He looked down and examined his arms and chest. Perfectly fine. He didn't even have a single cut. These bloodstains hadn't come from him. That meant that they came from someone else. Yushi was someone who had read quite a few yellow books. He knew perfectly well under what circumstances bloodstains would appear on blankets. Yushi glared at the undershirt on the bed in disgust. He roared, "Someone come in." Steward Feng, who had originally been in the outer room, scurried in. Who was it? Yushi's lips were completely pale. He pointed at the undershirt on the bed and forced his rage under control. To which slut does this belong? Steward Feng blanked for a moment. He thought to himself, did these two get into an argument? Steward Feng cautiously prepared to give an unclear explanation. He asked, what? Yushi couldn't remember at all what had happened last night. He knew that he was prone to having fits, so didn't dare to keep maids in the estate at all. This was because he feared that someone would take advantage of him while he was in an episode. However, despite all his efforts, it seemed that he had still failed. If Zhonwan found out, would he still return? How was he supposed to explain this? Yushi thought in despair, would Zhonwan be disdainful of the fact that he was dirty now? Steward Feng felt that Yushi's mental state wasn't quite right. He fearfully inquired, Yushizi, what's actually the matter? Can't you see? Yushi's voice trembled. The blood on the blankets. And the slut's clothes. Can't you see them? Who was it? Steward Feng gulped. He softly said, this old servant is unsure about how these came to be, but there is one thing this old servant needs to clear up for you. Steward Feng softly said, from last night until now, only young Master Zhon came into this room. As if he had been struck by lightning, Yushi froze in place. Instantly, the suggestive bloodstains on the bed were no longer disgusting. The undergarment had become enchanting too. But Yushi was in a daze. I hurt him so deeply. He didn't leave. He came back. He came looking for me. Yushi broke down. And then I did that to him. Yushi clung onto his last bit of hope. He asked, where is he? He's in a really bad state. When he got up this morning, he said that he had another fever and that every part of his body ached. Steward Feng told the truth. He went looking for the imperial doctor. Yushi. Yushi's face faintly flushed red. He turned around and sorted out the blankets himself. Steward Feng hurriedly rushed forward, wanting to help, but Yushi blocked the blankets from view. He hesitated and said, this isn't something that you should see. This is leftover from Zhonwan's, you know. Never mind. Anyways, I'll clean up by myself. End chapter.